The modern minivan class welcomes few newcomers. Perhaps that's because Honda, Toyota, and Dodge Chrysler have so thoroughly dominated the arena for years. Kia is not a newcomer, but its minivan has, at best, only picked at the fringes. The Korean automaker aims to change that with the 2015 Kia Sedona. Now here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. It is a switchblade key. It has a fairly high quality design here. You do have your lock, unlock, and then to release your tailgate, and then your panic button too. So a strong character line from the front fender to the rear panel gives the new Sedona a crisp and creased look, enhanced by a similarly sculpted hood and front end. Eyebrow headlights flank a subtle variation of Kia's signature tiger nose grille, and both the compact front and rear end designs lend the new minivan a crossover-like presence. There's even a bit of Ford Explorer in the Sedona's rear quarters, which is not a bad thing at all, even if rear visibility is bound to suffer as a result. Now our Sedona we have here is the LX model, which is a step up above the base trim, the L, and it comes pretty well equipped with a power driver seat, Bluetooth phone controls, and satellite radio. Now the new Sedona actually reminds me of the Mazda 5. The Mazda 5 is not like a traditional minivan. The Sedona is a little bit larger than the 5, which is a good thing. Now it is a white exterior with a gray cloth interior. Power driver seat functions, power recline, and power lumbar too. Now stepping on into the interior, it really looks like a crossover inside of here, not a minivan. And then the step-in height is also pretty low. Of course, this is a family hauler, they have to keep it low here. Push-button ignition is available on the Sedona. And what you're hearing is a 3.3 liter V6. Now coming to your transmission, you have a 6-speed automatic with manual shiftability. Putting the vehicle into reverse displays your standard rear view camera with guidance lines. And I'm going to turn on the lights and the hazards too. Automatic driver's side window. And let's go ahead and pop the hood and check out the engine bay. LED turn signal indicators integrated onto the mirrors. Halogen projector beam headlights with LED accenting lights. Very great looking front end, one of the most stylish in the class, with the tiger nose front grille that really looks like the Kia Optima. Now under the hood you will find a 3.3 liter V6 producing 276 horses with 248 pound-feet of torque, with EPA estimates being an okay 18 in the city and 24 on the highway. This powertrain produces pretty good passing power, and mated with the 6-speed automatic transmission makes for a pretty responsive pair. Now trims of the Sedona start at the L model, and then you have the LX, and then you have the EX, and then you have the SX, and then the SX Limited. Now competitors of the Sedona range from the Toyota Sienna, the Honda Odyssey, the Chrysler Town & Country, Dodge Grand Caravan, and the Nissan Quet. Coming to the rear, you have pretty uniquely styled tail lamps. I love the rear of the Sedona. Rear parking sensors too. Rear window wiper with a rear window defroster. And a little shark fin at the top. Estimates, like I said, are 18 in the city and 24 on the highway. Total vehicle price is $29,190. Power windows, door locks, power mirrors, nice soft touch armrests. And let's go ahead and rev up the Sedona and hear how she sounds. Very nice. Now, as far as build quality and materials go in the Sedona, it's pretty above average for the class. You have nice soft touch materials, and then up here on the dashboard as well, and on the upper door panel too, and on the armrest, like I said. And there's not a lot of panel gaps or anything like that. It's actually one of the best interiors in the class as far as materials and build quality go. Now, something interesting here is that in a traditional minivan, this space right here would actually be freed up. The gear selector would be up here, and the whole dash would go in a vertical way instead of a horizontal way like this. This really mimics a crossover here. Now, as far as seating comfort goes in the Sedona, the seats are very comfortable, very well supportive, and they have a nice amount of cushion to them for those long road trips. Now, as far as driving impressions go, it's probably one of the better handling multi-purpose vehicles or minivans in the class. It's not as boring to drive as the Toyota Sienna or the Nissan Quest. It almost feels like the Honda Odyssey somewhat. Now, coming to the steering wheel design, I love the steering wheel design also. It's a pretty stylish design here. And you do have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, your Bluetooth phone controls, voice recognition, and then over here you have your cruise control buttons too. Manually tilting and telescopic steering wheel. Coming up here you have your manually dimming rearview mirror, your conversation mirror but no sunglass container, pretty interesting there. And then up here you have your interior illumination lighting. Now, as far as visibility goes of the Sedona, it's pretty good. There's a decent amount of glass area all around, and outward visibility is pretty decent as well. Coming to your center stack controls here, it's very clear, easy to read, very well labeled as well. Fan speeds, your different zones, your rear window defroster, your front window defroster, and then your rear climate control too. You have your digital clock, and then coming up here you have your main head unit here. You have an AM, FM, optical disc drive, satellite radio too, Kia's UVO services, e-services. You have roadside assistance, vehicle diagnostics, your parking minder, and then you have your e-services guide. You can go to your settings. It is a touchscreen too. The responsiveness of the touchscreen is also pretty good. Different media sources like Bluetooth streaming audio, and your USB and your auxiliary, and then you have your optical disc drive too, CD player. Sound system is also pretty decent too. Coming down here you have your USB port, your auxiliary input, cup holders, and then here's where you'll find all your storage for the kids stuff. Then you have a 12-volt power outlet down there, and the center console is pretty deep, I have to say. And then you also do have a nice armrest with nice stitching, but it doesn't adjust. Coming to your gauges, typical Kia gauges here, very clear and easy to read, and I like the white illumination around them. Coming to your center screen right there, it's basically going to give your exterior temperature readout, your trip odometer, all of that good stuff. Now, as far as the ride goes in the Sedona, the ride is actually pretty smooth. It's actually pretty compliant as well. Now, there's also many features that you can get on the Sedona, including a navigation system, all of that good stuff, and many luxury features as well, heated and cooled seats, all of that good stuff. And all of the latest safety technologies, including blind spot monitoring and lane departure warning too. So overall, I really love this dash design, and it really reminds me of a crossover in here instead of a traditional minivan, which is probably a turn-on for many minivan buyers that don't want to feel like you're in a minivan inside and want to feel like you're more of in a SUV. Alright, and I'm going to shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the utility as well as the cargo capacity and the rear seat passenger space. Dual sliding doors, but they aren't powered. Back here, you also do have manual reclining seats and then second row captain's chairs too. Optional you can get back here is a footrest for the second row seats, and then you can also get rear sunshades back here too. Now another neat little feature of the Sedona is that you have their new slide and stow seats. Pull this little lever up and the seat comes up just like that in a standing up position, which is a pretty neat little feature. It makes for access into the third row much better and for more increased cargo capacity too. And then to put it back into the seating position, just pull this up and then push it down. Now sitting back here, it really reminds me of a traditional minivan. Of course you have the sliding doors, and then this space right here is also freed up, which creates for lots of room. And then you also do have an armrest on the side right here, which really reminds me of a minivan. Dual mat pockets back here, little storage cubby too, and then you have your cup holders for the rear. Overall, the room is actually pretty good back here. I'm actually quite surprised. I have the driving position to where I would be, and I have lots of legroom back here. And you also do have cup holders and a little storage cubby right there. Power windows for the rear too. And your climate control buttons are located right there for the rear passengers. And you also do have a little storage cubby right there. Alrighty. Now another neat feature is that these seats also do slide forward and aft. Now sitting back here, I could tell you that if you're not a big fan of the third row in traditional crossovers, then you're going to like this third row seat, because this doesn't feel like a crossover. It feels more like a minivan inside of here. It's very comfortable back here compared to a crossover, which is very important for a large family. You also do have cup holders back here, and the room is also pretty good too. These seats also do fold down to maximize cargo room as well. Now a new option for the tailgate is that if your hands are full of groceries or anything like that, and you're standing back here with the key fob in your hands or in your pocket or whatever, and within a matter of seconds the tailgate will open up by its own, and you don't actually have to wave your foot under the tailgate like this, like how on other crossovers do. So that's a pretty neat little feature, and that is of course only available on higher end trims of the new Sedona. Now these seats actually also do fold down by following the steps given. Full manual passenger seat, glove box compartment, nice and damped, little storage cubby right there, and a little cubby right here with a 12-volt power outlet. Now even though the gear shifter does take up quite a bit of space and this is more like of a crossover, there's still lots of storage cubbies in here for your family. Alrighty. With more modern style, a new interior, a fuel-efficient V6, and loads of standard features, the 2015 Kia Sedona should make a compelling alternative to established minivan choices. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.